Well, hello. I'm here with Latisha, who has been so gracious to join me today and talk a little bit about her adventures and successes with Toastmasters International. Tell me about your experience with Toastmasters. So I'd like to know kind of where you started, how you felt like you were when you first came into it, and the transition to where you are now and everything that you're doing. And obviously you've won some contests and done all kinds of cool things. Maybe tell me where you were to start and how you were feeling about public speaking, leading in general. Okay. And then we'll kind of walk through the difference that Toastmasters has made.
Sure. So I grew up, when I grew up in church, we were like forced to speak in front of the public. I was in drama, I'm a singer, I forgot to say I'm a singer.
Wow.
So the stage and being in front of a crowd was not new for me. When I got to Toastmasters, they figured that out pretty quickly. The great thing about it though is because Toastmasters is for everyone at every level, they were able to help me sharpen my skills even though I had some already. Mm-hmm. So when I came in, I gave my very first speech, which is called the Icebreaker. I told them about my experience learning Spanish. And I had this purple dress on, I remember the day. It was called Where'd You Learn That At? Pastor Larry was my evaluator. They evaluate you when you give your speech. And I had all these little props, and I had pictures from Cuba when I studied abroad, because did I tell you I speak Spanish? I speak Spanish. So I gave this speech, and when it was over, Larry told me all the things that I did really well, and then all the things that I could do better. I mean, I was already in love with Toastmasters when I came to visit my friend, and she gave her speech. He said, let's think about that title that you use. Where'd you learn that at? Can we make that a little bit more appealing to your audience? You're wearing a purple dress, maybe you should call it something like Lady in the Purple Dress. I was like, okay, noted. So I wrote that down. Then I was talking, and there was a podium, and I had all these little props and things that I kept going under the podium and bringing them to the top and going under, and I kept talking under there. And so we can't hear you down there. Mm-hmm. You should make sure you're talking when you're above the podium, or just have all your props in the front instead of having to keep going up and down to get them to ring them out. Although I wanted the element of surprise, give me some tips on that. The other thing they taught me was that I talked really fast. I'm a California girl, so I think you can do that. Yes. I talk really fast, and we understand you, you're articulate, but can you slow it down a little bit? Learn some vocal variety. There were some things I learned in Toastmasters about being soft, loud, fast, slow. So they told me that. And then they said, you go on a lot of tangents. So you're telling a story, and then you tell us all these other things we don't need to know. Can you stay inside the story? Don't tell me her shoes were red unless it's relevant. Mm-hmm. and those types of things. So it helped me to gain clarity in my message, how to be effective with my audience, to make things more appealing. I mean, just went through all these things. Just that one speech. But I still remember this day what my evaluation was. I mean, we're talking 5 years or so ago. I still remember the things they told me. So Toastmasters, because you know this, because you're in Toastmasters, it's about leadership, becoming an effective leader, an effective communicator, and having self-confidence. We're growing all of those three things. A lot of people just think public speaking, right? But it has helped in so many ways. So now I'm able to evaluate others very well because of what I've learned through my evaluators. I'm able to give much better speeches than I did before. I'm able to stay on subject, even though I sometimes want to go on a tangent.
You have a lot to say.
But yeah, I do have a lot to say. But I've learned to do that in succinct periods of time. Sometimes you only have 30 seconds.
Yes.
Sometimes you only have 5 minutes. Sometimes you have 40, and it's like, okay, let me get everything I want to say, but there's still so much that you could do.
So much.
How do I focus? How do I make sure that when this audience leaves, they remember what I talked about?
Right. Less is more sometimes.
Yes.
Well, that's fantastic, and I totally agree with her, because it's not just the public speaking, it's the leadership skills. You learn how to run a meeting. You learn how to give critical feedback. Speaking on your toes, the impromptu speaking.
My favorite, one of my favorites.
Which we'll get into that, I'm sure. Yeah. So there's so much that you get out of it.
And becoming better and being your best self. Toastmasters is going to help you with that. That's important just for life in general. So I see it that way, because when I came in, it wasn't that I needed the confidence necessarily, because my parents helped me with that. My drama helped me with that. I've been on big stages and things, but it helped me become better and with the goals that I had. I've been interviewed. I've been on the radio a few times. I've been I've been on a few podcasts.
Okay.
When you get there, sometimes you get the questions in advance, and sometimes you don't.
Right. So if impromptu speaking.
And table topics has helped you. Here's the thing about table topics. So even if you aren't the one giving the answer, you're listening to other people and how they do it.
Yes.
So they ask you, they ask you this question. So table topics is one of my favorite parts of the meeting because it really sharpens your muscle, which is why we're like by the gym, we're talking about building your speaking muscle. You see the gym behind us back there. Ask a question and you have 1 to 2 minutes to answer.
And you don't know what that question is.
You don't know what the question's going to be, and you have to be creative in your approach. So you have to think on your feet and be ready.
Yep.
So after I'd been in Toastmasters for a while, I got the chance to do that on these interviews. People were asking me questions, and my brain was ready. So I've seen people do it, and I've done it, and I've been the person asking the questions. So it teaches you how to ask good questions, teaches you how to answer those questions, or see other people do it.
Very true. Self-confidence is huge. Even just not wanting to fill that space, because that's natural. As human beings, we were like, okay, that's why we do the ums and ahs and speak really fast. We don't want there to be space.
Or trying to fill the space and they feel nervous, and they may be the best person. Like they may know all the answers, but it doesn't appear that way because they keep saying, it's really important to be able to unfill those spaces and allow that space for you to breathe, for you to think, and for your audience to process what you're saying.
Yes.
And so Toastmasters gives you that opportunity to practice in a safe place with a supportive environment. And then if you're like me, I record myself so I can listen and hear what I sound like, because what I sound like right now talking to you is not what I sound like after this recording. What I'm saying, to notice how many times I put my hands up or how many times I did whatever, I can see that when I watch myself back in the replay. Toastmasters is the bomb.com.
It really is. Yes.
I am Toastmasters for life. It is great. One time I gave a speech in front of like 5,000 something people. It was actually a training for our company. Our corporate office asked me to train. And I was ready because Toastmasters helped me to be ready. So here's a great thing. We had 25 minutes and there were 3 of us. So we had to construct our pieces, what part, 5 minutes for you, 5 minutes for you, 5 minutes for you, and then 4 minutes for the audience, laughter and things, introduction. We're planning this all out, and I was really good at it because of Toastmasters.
Wow.
And you know, Toastmasters, you have to be on time. You can't be under time either. My main message was that in sales, you'll never run out of people to talk to.
True.
So everything I said supported that. The numbers I gave, the stories I gave, all the stuff. And so when people left, they remembered, and they were so excited because they understood that main message. It made it much more effective, and I only had like 5 minutes.
Wow.
So for someone to take
very impactful.
For someone to be able to take a 5-minute speech and bring it into their life, that's such an honor.
That's huge.
That they could leave the audience with that and always remember that I'll never run out of people.
Okay, and I know you've won contests.
Many contests.
Many contests, yes, which is very impressive.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about those, or the kinds of
Yes, I
contests
do.
you won? Okay,
yes, I
fantastic.
do. Shout out to District 22. This contest you do is area. So I went to the area, and that's kind of the easier part of really the first real contest is your club, but there was no one else that was really competing against me in my club, so I really kind of automatically won. You have to be at a certain level in your pathways to do it. So this kind of voted me in as one of the best. But area, you're competing maybe against 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 people. So it's not as hard as it would be when you get to the other level. So that first year, I got first place. I was so excited. I mean, maybe it was one other person. And then I went to the next level, which was division.
Okay.
And I did not place first. I placed second. Okay. And you don't move on after that. It says, okay, what did you learn? What can you take with you for next year? Because he's speaking me into speaking for the next year. And I learned that I needed to work on my structure and how to really pull the audience in, just a bunch of little tips that you could to make it better and really knowing your competition. So the next year I got first place for the area. It might have only been me. I mean, I don't even remember how many people were there. First place for the area. I got first place for division, so I got better.
Hey.
And then I moved on to district level. So 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
I did not place at all.
At the district level.
District level are all first place people from division.
Oh wow.
So this is a whole nother competition when you got all the first place people. Rick asked me, what was it about the first, second, and third place speeches that made them win? So we started thinking about the story, the weight of the story, the messages that they were giving. He says, you need to come back next year with more, I think it said gravitas. Hopefully I'm saying that right. It's some French word or something.
Yes.
You know what that word is?
Yes.
Okay, did I say it right?
I think it's gravitas.
Either way, it means that you have to come with some good meat,
Correct.
like a really heavy, impactful story. And then he says, of course, you should compete again next year. And I listened to him for these 3 years in a row. So first place for the division. Boom, this is 2022. first place for the area, first place for division.
Yeah.
I go to district. My only goal that year was to beat my own record and to place.
Yeah.
I didn't care if it was
That's the
first,
best way.
second, or third.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to place because the year before I had it, and that meant I had some growth.
Right.
And they announced the third place person. They announced the second place person. And then they said, oh, I'm just waiting. And I never assume.
Right.
You just don't know until you know. So they said, and in first place, La. And I said, it's me. It is me because I am the only person whose name starts with La.
Nice.
And I was like, so I always
that's
record my
amazing.
reaction. So I have my hair is everywhere and I'm screaming and moving around. Oh, I forgot I have this pin in my hair. Let me take it out because you're not getting the full effect of my brand new hairstyle. Ready, set, the rest. Okay.
Oh, pretty.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, I got first place. So excited. So jovial.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I thought it was done. I was like, all right, I got first place. I beat my goal. I beat my own record. And I'm just living my life. So 30 days later, roughly, I'm sitting in a meeting that I run. I was the president of my networking organization. Everybody's gone. Thank you. Like there were 30 people in there minutes before, and now I'm being this introvert that I'm not really. I just was taking an introvert moment for the extrovert.
Okay.
I'm sitting there, it's nice and quiet, all the chairs are empty, and I'm checking my email on my phone. And I look down and I'm like, what? It says, congratulations, you are the region winner for Region 4, I think it was.
Oh.
And you're gonna move on to semifinals in World Championship of Public Speaking.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
incredible.
there was no one there to tell though. So I'm in this empty room with nobody
And you're
in
like,
it.
you scream
I'm all
though?
excited. Not really. Like
Okay.
maybe a little bit on the
Yeah.
inside. I'm like, oh, where's everybody at? I could have told my whole crew nobody's here. So Colin walks in and I was like, guess what? So I'm telling him, he doesn't even really care. He's like, I don't even know what Toastmasters is. I'm like, I'm going I'm at the top of the thing. You know, he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I called my husband. I started telling people. I was so excited.
Oh my gosh.
So I went from, what I thought, that year, first year, 2 levels. Next year, 3 levels. And then this year, I went 5 levels higher than I did. But all the way to the semifinals level. So this means I was one of the top 28 people out of 30-something thousand in the world.
Wait, say that again?
One of the top 28 out of 30-something thousand people in the world. Those were the contestants for that year. Get there, they have 4 sections of people, 7 each. So 7 times 4 is 28, if you remember your math. And in each of those groups, out of the 7, 2 people move on. So the top 8, the highest you could ever go to World Championship. So I competed with my 7, no one else. So I didn't have to compete against the other 27 people, just my other 6. So you compete, and you have to have a speech ready for that top level in case you move on. And I had that ready, and I practiced it and went around and did all that. So I get on the stage. Now, all the stuff that I've done at this point, this was all on Zoom. Everything was virtual because we were coming out of the pandemic. So none of this was in person except this contest was in person. They were doing a hybrid version.
Okay.
And I'm fine in person or online, doesn't matter. But it's a different kind of world because on Zoom, I mute people out. I don't listen. I'm just like in my own world. I shut the house down. Everybody go to your rooms. Shut down the TV, put on the headphones, do not move for 30 minutes. But you get there and you're in person, and now I'm second on stage. I can't mute anybody. She's on stage. I'm listening to the first person go. I was number 2. I'm like, dang, man, she's talking. I can't think. I got my little speech together. I'm trying to remember. I get up on the stage, and I did fine. I looked good. I mean, I made sure I looked good. I had my little teeny tiny necklace because the big one wasn't working. I like big necklaces. But that's how I started wearing little ones, because I had to get one for that. But I get on the stage, I'm looking good. I got these high heels on. I don't wear heels on stage like this big. And I get to the middle of my speech, the most important line, and forget it.
Oh.
I went blank. I don't even know why. I could not remember.
Yeah.
It was and you should watch the speech, it's online. It was a line that talked about the time that I dimmed my light, and then I let people dim my light, and then I was contrasting into shining bright and forgot the dim to shine. It's like a link missing in your chain. Like you can't wear it because you're missing the little piece. It was, I was so devastated. And I wasn't devastated because I didn't get to move on. I was devastated because my speech wasn't complete. I wanted my message to behold.
Yes.
They got the idea, but they didn't get the real feel of it because I've forgotten that part.
Yeah.
So I learned some things about studying for those speeches. And so if I were to do that all over again, which I may think about, we'll see, I would have put more effort into practicing for that first speech. I would have had the second speech ready, but I would have laid that heavy after I got past that level.
Okay. Well, Latisha, it's been incredible, and I'm going to have to meet with you again because there's so much more I want to ask you, and we're just out of time for today. Is there anything else you want to say about Toastmasters or your experience in general? Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Sure. Listen, you definitely want to join a Toastmasters. They're all over the globe. You can look them up at toastmasters.org. Hey, District 22 is the best. We love our district.
We're kind of biased.
Yeah, I mean, it's just our experience. It's like you love your mom's cooking.
That's right.
You know. But I definitely recommend it to all levels of speakers, people who want to grow in confidence, people who want to grow in any type of public speaking skill, leadership, all of that. It's really great. It's inexpensive. It's such a, and I write it off as an investment in myself. And I can't wait to tell you more about the contest and the other things that I've learned along the way in Toastmasters. So we'll get together again.
Please,
and we'll have a longer conversation. But thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you. I look forward
Best
to
of luck
hearing
to
more.
all of you.